how much do you want it? How much do you want to be free of the ego? How much are you willing to face? How much pain are you willing to look at? How much suffering are you willing to actually look at? And I mean all the stuff that, you've hidden, that we've all hidden from ourselves, all that fear, shame and guilt from the sin we believed that we did, which was separating from our source, separating from God. Because for me personally, I would say that the kind of philosophy that most aligns with my kind of a philosophy on life is A Course in Miracles. But to just limit myself to that and to only study or read that or whatever, I feel like that is kind of doing yourself a disservice. The reason that I say that is because, and I'm sure you've probably noticed this too on your journey, is when you trust in the love that you are, so you'll get synchronicities and you'll see, maybe you're watching a YouTube video and you'll hear of a book being mentioned and you'll just get this feeling like, oh, I don't know what it is, but I need to read that book. Or you might just come across a certain book or a certain anything really, and you just get that feeling, and it's like you can feel love is kind of pulling you and nudging you into that direction. And this is what a really amazing book called The Cloud Upon a Sanctuary by Karl von Eckarthausen. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. And this book was written a long, long time ago, and he's talking about the true Rosicrucian fraternity and how the true Rosicrucians and the true fraternity isn't some external order. It's not some place that you go and they bestow all these secrets on you. It's nothing like that at all. It's that when you are really, really, really committed to your path and you're really earnest and you really, really want the answers, like it's literally your life's passion and the only thing that you want in this life. And when you are at that place, then the inner teacher comes to you. And you can call that inner teacher Jesus. You could call it your angel. You could call it the inner school or the Rosicrucians like Karl von Eckarthausen. You can call it anything really, but what that is it's love, God, your true self, call it by any name you want. What that is that coming to you because you've asked for it and you've asked for it earnestly, and you're also open enough to be aware of it, so you can feel when it's nudging you to whatever it might be. Read a certain book, go to a certain place, and even you can also recognize when it's creating what you would have used to have thought of as problems. You can recognize that it's creating these seeming problems, but you recognize that literally everything that happens in your life and everything that appears in your reality is there because your inner teacher has placed it there. And that inner teacher ultimately, of course, is yourself. It's the ultimate identity of you, love. And you can recognize that everything in your life has been placed there in order for you to learn, not so much to learn who you are, but to learn who you are not. And to undo the deception of the ego and to undo the false belief that we're separate identities, that we're, an ego or a body. You really begin to see that everything is that love. And everything that happens to you or doesn't happen to you as well is for one reason and one reason only, and that's to bring you back to the love that you are, bring you back into that full remembrance of who you are. And when you can really begin to look at your life and everything in it as a blessing, because it absolutely is, then your problems become, well, they're not really problems, everything's a blessing, but what you used to think of as problems become less and less and less, because you're actually learning, instead of seeing it as a problem and seeing it as, something negative. Because of course, if you see anything as a problem or as that it's a negative thing, you're just denying it. And then you're just making sure that it's going to keep coming back again, and it's going to keep coming back even bigger and bigger and bigger until you eventually learn the reason for it. And that reason is always our own mind projecting it. And we're projecting it based on the lie that we believe that we're separate from God. And until we can really, really, really face all of that deception and undo all of that deception, then we're going to be projecting what appear to be problems. They're not problems though, they're lessons. And I think, that's the kind of the key, isn't it? Is to change the mindset and to not view anything as a problem anymore, because nothing really is a problem. There is no problems. The world is an illusion. The world is a projection of our own minds. So to realize that the world is a projection of our own mind, to realize that anything that appears to be a problem really is just coming from a place of faulty perception in your own mind. If you're projecting what appears to be a problem, it means that there's still some part of you that believes you're separate. And so that seeming problem is actually an opportunity to realize, okay, I've projected this seeming problem because there's still a part of me that believes I'm separate. So, okay, let's really look at that and find out what it is. And what it always is a belief that we're separate, and that belief that we are separate identities has created all of this perceived fear, guilt, and shame. And it's the unwillingness to look at that fear, guilt, and shame that keeps us projecting what we perceive to be problems. If we can just look at it, it's okay, it's not a problem. It's actually a lesson. It's my inner teacher showing me something. So instead of seeing it as a problem, you can look at it and you can ask Jesus, God, love, the universe, life, whatever you want to call it, to show you where you need to look in order to fix the perception and where you're still seeing yourself as separate. And if you can do that, you can start to really work with your inner teacher and really speed up your process, because you're no longer denying yourself and you're no longer denying the fact that you do still have that hidden guilt, shame, and fear. You do still have those really hidden beliefs in separation, and we all do, because it is such a deeply held belief, and it's such a powerful belief. It's literally the belief that created this world and everything you see in it, your reality, your body, and all of it. So, don't feel bad about that. Don't have any guilt that you're creating for yourself issues and problems, because they're not problems and they're not issues. They're just a way for you to see yourself and a way for you to come home to the love that you are. So welcome that inner teacher and welcome everything that comes to you, because everything really is a blessing. Because how could it not be a blessing if it came from you? And everything comes from you. Everything that you see in your reality, everything comes from you. And you just haven't seen it yet. So you're creating unconsciously, and you're creating unconsciously out of fear. But once you allow that inner teacher to come in and really correct and show you where you're still holding all of those faulty beliefs in separation, and show you where you're hiding all of your guilt, your fear, and your shame, then slowly you can eradicate all of that fear, the guilt, and the shame. And as your, shall we say, lens of perception is cleaned, and it gets cleaner and cleaner and cleaner over time, and as that happens, you'll notice that what you're projecting is more and more love. And the things you used to think of as problems get less and less and less, and until there's just the peace and the love that you are. And even if there is seeming setbacks, you kind of welcome them, because you're like, this is another opportunity for me to learn even more love, or to learn even more forgiveness, or whatever it might be. So yeah, I hope that helped and maybe brought a little bit more clarity. And Until next time.